It's Monday, November 25th, 2024, and this is episode 323 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, after we finished recording our last episode, you said you were going to head to Diamond Joe Worth. How did that go for you?
It went pretty good. I was able to play on my free play the whole time.
Oh, okay. You didn't. At first, you thought you might not play at all. You might just bring your free play back and
yeah. And I got there and I thought, well, I drove all this way. I guess I better play.
Yeah. So
I played a few hours, like maybe 2.5 hours. I was watching one of the football games that went in and I left. So yeah, it went well.
You never had to dig into your wallet, just the free play the whole
time?
No,
and broke about even.
Okay.
I think I cashed out a few bucks, but nothing spectacular. It was kind of relaxing to be playing with it. I had amassed a fair amount.
That really is house money when you're talking about free play.
Right. Yeah, that really is house money. Yeah. So that worked out good. I was supposed to go tomorrow. A bunch of guys from the area here wanted to go, and I got them rooms and all this and that and everything. And then, well, they all work at this one bank, and I guess something happened with getting time off, and some of them couldn't go. So they had to cancel last minute, and now they are planning on the second weekend of March Madness.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they really had to postpone.
Well, this way they can all work it out. It's not as hectic a time, I guess, not Christmas or anything.
So are you?
And they're sports bettors, so they want to go for sports betting.
Yeah. Are you going to go tomorrow still?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance, but I wanted to actually start getting some Christmas decorations up on the outside of the house because snow's coming, and once snow hits, Christmas decorations don't make it.
Okay. And are we going to Las Vegas for March Madness?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
You know, you need to start thinking about this way ahead of time, because when we get closer, I can't take time. Oh, school. Oh, they need me to teach.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. Just how it goes, Mark.
All right. I'm going to keep bugging you about it.
Yep, keep bugging me. We got some time.
We got a little time.
Yeah, it's not like we have to make reservations today.
Well, no, it's not a matter of reservations. It's getting all your ducks in a row. We could make reservations the day before and we'd be okay. It's your time off and
it's my ducks.
It's your ducks. Yeah.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, on our last episode, Mike, you were wondering how concerned law enforcement is with bookmakers, bookies. And you weren't thinking in terms of like some huge mafia organization, more like just your friendly neighborhood bookie, right?
Right.
We did get an email from someone in law enforcement who preferred to remain anonymous.
I understand.
For obvious reasons. But they wrote, I work as a law enforcement officer in the state of Utah, and I'm a detective for my agency. In regards to your question about if we care about bookies, the short answer is no, not really. From time to time, we get tips about bookies, and it's one of those things where we know it happens and that people are making sports bets, but we aren't actually seeking those cases out. However, if a big operation was taking place and we got word of it, we would look into it. I can say in my career thus far, 10 plus years, I haven't charged anyone for gambling. So there you go. Now, this is Utah where there is no legal gambling. So would there be, more bookies, fewer bookies? I'm thinking maybe fewer because it's not just the legality of it, it's sort of the culture of Utah. But I'm also guessing that we would hear similar comments from law enforcement throughout the country.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know, just because there's no gambling there might be a lot of illegal sports betting there.
But again, it's a cultural thing too. The culture of the Church of Latter-day Saints and Utah.
Right.
That, there might be less than anyway.
I hate to say this, but I think some Latter-day Saints may be betting on football.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. We're not accusing anyone here, but I think you're probably right, Dr. Mike.
I think some of them might be betting.
Maybe college?
Some of the friends that I know are betting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But anyway. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case.
Yeah.
Because unless it's like other stuff going on, drugs or prostitution or it's mafia related.
Some kind of thinking, or money laundering, all that kind of stuff.
Something like that. You never got in trouble being a bookie for us. And
for my friends at card night.
At card night.
No, nobody ever approached me.
And I kept calling, believe me. Hello, El Cajon PD. I'd like to report a gambling.
And again, it is one of those things where you could see the public say, "Hey, why aren't you going after the real criminals?" As they're taking away a bookie in handcuffs. So, a certain amount of that too. But I'm sure the law enforcement they're not interested in spending a lot of time on something that's not a big problem in their eyes.
Especially in nowadays, in our world now, there's so many other bigger problems, right?
Right.
Oh.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. Well, like we said last time, we had more voicemails we needed to get to, so let's do that right now. First up is Nate.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Nate here from Atlanta. I just heard that Dr. Mike isn't feeling very well, so certainly hope he feels better. And it's more that you guys had too much fun at Zorkfest versus catching any sort of crud while traveling. I did have a chance to travel out to Sacramento for a work engagement, and while I was there, decided to hit a couple casinos. So I'd give you a little report. First one I hit up was Thunder Valley. Really nice casino, big, really cool center bar with nice seating around it to watch the football. I actually had a chance to watch the Falcons play there for a little bit. First time seeing the card craps, but it kind of freaked me out. Number one, I'm still on my self-imposed craps ban, and number two, the dice all had shapes on them. So stars and squares and pink diamonds and purple rainbows or whatever. So it kind of freaked me out, decided not to play that. Plus, they had a lot of cool variants of blackjack. So as I've not been playing craps, I've really gotten into just playing these kind of wackadoodle, admittedly bad rules, bad house odds versions of blackjack, but they've been a lot of fun. They had a whole bunch of different ones at Thunder Valley, and I actually won a little bit of money. I also had a chance to check out Sky River. Sky River, again, another really nice property. They had a really nice restaurant in there I ate at. And they did also have a card craps table that took me a minute to realize there were actually cards involved. Like the dice were coming out and everything was moving. It had all the energy of a real craps table. And I looked and eventually I did see the cards down there and I was like, okay, got it. But it felt like the real thing. I probably would have liked to jump in, but the table was way too crowded. I mean, it was packed to the gills. So I looked around for some other games to play. They didn't have any of those fun blackjack variants, nor really much variety of games at all. A lot of baccarat and a lot of just regular blackjack. The casino itself was pretty tightly packed and just kind of stressful. So I actually just left. I didn't even gamble down there at all. But both were pretty nice facilities, amazed at how big they were. Only complaint would be around the smoke in both. Given how big and new and nice they were, I was blown away how smoky both those casinos were, even when it didn't seem like a lot of people around me were smoking. I don't know if they just have bad ventilation or what. It was so bad that after my trip to Thunder Valley, when I was driving home, I got in the car the next day, and I was actually worried that the rental car company would think I smoked in the car and charge me a fee. It took days for that god-awful smell to get out of the car, just from being stuck to my clothes. So those would be my only bad notes about both those properties. Otherwise, pretty nice. I'm headed out there again next week. I'm going to check out some of the other properties around there. And since you guys are delayed, maybe you or anyone else could give some recommendations on some interesting casinos and games to check out while I'm there. Thank you, and Dr. Mike, hope you feel better soon.
All right, thank you.
Well, Nate, gosh, this episode might be a little too late for you. You might have already headed back to the Sacramento area. We've never been up there. I know there are a lot of people in Northern California who have some favorites up there. So if people have some recommendations, please let us know. Yeah, Mike, I remember times coming home from Harrah's, especially when we were there a long time. And I'd get into bed and Sherry's like, oh my gosh, you've got to take a shower. I've taken my clothes off, but it's in my hair. It's,
It's penetrated every pore of your body, Mark.
Yep.
I remember that happening a few times with Lynn, too.
Yeah.
You stink. I know.
Now, what are you munching on? Sounds like you're eating something.
I was swallowing a old-fashioned cream drop.
An old-fashioned cream drop. Is that like a donut?
No. It's like this cream stuff inside chocolate. They look like little triangles.
Okay.
Have you ever had them?
Well, I guess not, since I didn't know what they were.
They're sugar and corn syrup.
Maybe if I actually saw it and tasted it, I said, oh, yeah, I've had these before.
Yeah, they're an old-fashioned candy. Okay. There's a place around here that sells a bunch of that, and I get them, and I love them.
And what's the cream like?
Let's see. So it says cream drops, center, sugar, corn syrup, salt, egg whites, imitation vanilla, cream of tartar, and then it's covered with dark confectionery chocolate on the outside.
All the good stuff, except for the dark chocolate. I'm more of a milk
boy, I love
guy,
them. And for people my age, grandparents used to eat them. My grandparents back in the day, and I'd always, want some. And now I can just go down to the store and buy them.
Yeah, on your own.
On my own. Just a word of advice. I know this is off the topic, Mark, but a word of advice. It was my
fault. I started it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, a word of advice for people when they become grandparents. If you have 2 grandkids and you're watching them for the day, give them each a Hershey's bar, but tell them that they need to split it with you so you get half of it and they get half of it. That way you get a whole bar and they only get half.
I see. So
everyone's good with that.
That's with 2 grandchildren.
Yeah.
You've got 2 Hershey bars. You're going to get what is essentially is a whole Hershey bar. Well, they get halves.
Right.
Now, you're not a grandfather, so where are you coming up with this?
Well, I'm planning ahead, Mark. Right. I want to be prepared. Yeah. If I have like 6 grandkids, imagine that.
That's
they
a lot
each
of
get
Hershey's.
A half, and I get 3.
Yeah, that'll be good for you. And make sure that you post that on like X or something so that people know how to bet on your blood sugar. One of those things that you were suggesting last time.
Right. Yeah. My wife said it's a new carnival game.
Oh,
Bet on Mike's blood sugar.
You just walk around from table to table. They hook you up.
Yeah. There's a lot of variants and stuff. So, we're going to have a fun casino, Mark.
Yeah, we sure are. Next call.
Hey, guys. I was in Vegas last weekend, just like you were. So here's my trip report. I flew in Saturday morning. All my friends flew in from parts of the country. We meet there and have a weekend. We all meet at Oyo to start. And I love Oyo because of the dealers. Dealers are really fun there. They had some $10 tables, their gimmick dollar blackjack, which is crowded all the time. Stayed there a long time. Then we went over to Rio to check in. Hadn't been there in a long 20 years. They had mostly $15 tables, but they had that hybrid craps. The plastic table, you still throw the dice with one dealer, but you make your bets on the screen. That was new for me and kind of awkward, but it was $5, so we hung in there. Then we went over to Orleans, wanted to check that out. So that was all 15, and I like the cheap tables, so we left there. It was real crowded Saturday night. Went to Gold Coast, found some $10 tables, a $5 Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And then back to Rio for some more hybrid craps. Sunday, we went downtown. First went to El Cortez, which last year was $10 tables, but now it's 15. Ended up at Fremont with our $10 tables. Played there a long time. Headed back towards the Rio, stopped at Palace Station, never been there. And for being remote and isolated, they all had $15 tables there. I was surprised. Thought it was going to be a bargain, but it wasn't. So we kept going and went down to Oyo again Sunday night, and they are fun. So we spent a lot of time there having fun. Back to Rio for a nightcap of hybrid craps. Monday morning, 1 more hour, hybrid craps at the Rio, and then to the airport where all the storms hit Dallas, and took me 6-7 hours to get out of Vegas because of all the cancellations I had to go through. But I made it home. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Very good. Some
thanks.
Love for Oyo there. Yeah, we don't hear too much about it's the old Hooters.
The old Hooters. Yeah. I don't think, I know I haven't been there since it.
Oh, I haven't been since it's rebranded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this tub electronic craps that he's talking about, it's not the roll to win. We actually saw this in several places. I don't know if you noticed, Mike, it definitely was at Horseshoe. But,
I saw it.
Yeah, it's a small tub with one dealer and a few screens around it where people can bet. And when it's your turn to roll, all the information is put onto the screen right by the craps table, and then you're able to roll. This is spreading around. Saw it at more than one place. People seem to like it, almost more than roll to win.
Well, I guess The idea is it's a small setting, right?
Yeah.
The casino only has to provide one dealer.
Right, which is the same with Roll to Win. I don't know, maybe these are less expensive for the casinos, but yeah, they're popping up.
Yeah. They're kind of neat looking, I thought.
Yeah, I
saw it and I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, remember the old days? They had little tubs in a few places.
Right. I think
it was a regular game.
They have one, I think, at Four Queens right now. But yes, I remember seeing one back in the 80s, Mike.
Yeah.
It was the old marina. Remember, Mike? We stayed there like one of our very first trips. And they had one of those tub craps tables. Yeah.
Yeah. They were kind of fun, actually. It was just so small, you could get 3 or 4 guys around it, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, take it over. Anyway, yeah, these new ones are spreading, so keep an eye out. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Brian from Arizona. I got a crap story I thought you might like. I turned 44. I started playing the hard 8, like pretty heavy, thinking, it's going to be my lucky year. Mm-hmm. And how I do it is I'd put a 5 on it. If I hit, I'd parlay to 50. If I hit that, I'd parlay to 500. And went the whole year, never hit the 500. And then finally, after chasing it for almost 2 years now, even after I'm not 44 anymore, I hit it last week, parlayed it up to 500. And the dealers were looking at me like I'm crazy. You sure? And the very next roll, the shooter hit it. $4,500. 500's table max here, so I was pretty pumped. I went over and hugged the shooter, actually, which was a complete stranger. And I dropped him a nice tip as well as the dealers. So anyway, dreams do come true. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that a good feeling when you hit something like that?
Oh, yeah. It's so unlikely. Mike, you don't play the hard way so much anymore, but you used to. You'd start with either 5 or 10. You'd take it to 50 or to 100. What's the most you ever got one up to? You never parlayed it like this, where it's like, boom, boom.
But So if I started with 10, I went to 100. If that hit, I might go to like 150 or 200. Mm-hmm. I think I got one up to 400 maybe that hit.
That hit. So that's the biggest one. Hit. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I might have got one to 500, but I know it didn't hit because I just figure the first time, right, just parlay it because, you put $5 out there. $5 seems kind of inconsequential, I guess.
Okay, so go ahead and parlay it. Although parlaying it a second time, that's rough because then you're talking about...
That's the hard part is that second time. Yeah. Because it's like, well, that's a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, if you had $10, you parlay to 100 and it's like all of a sudden you get $900. You're thinking, do I really want to go to 1,000?
Right.
I mean, it'd be great if it hit, right? $9,000, but... Yeah, I just don't know if I want to do
that. Collect when you can, folks. All right, next up is longtime contributor Logan.
Hi, this is Logan from Hawaii, longtime listener. I just visited Northern California, and I played at Sky River Casino. I played a game called Loaded Wilds, where the twos and the jokers are wild. It's actually a poker game. There's a side bet that is called bad beat. And if the dealer beats your hand, you get paid that odds. So I watched that game for about 30 minutes, and I seen 3 bad beats. I seen a player with a natural straight. He had the bad beat bet, maybe like $15, and the dealer got a straight flush, and the player got paid like $1,500. And I've never seen a game like that. I also played craps. First time playing card craps. On the come out roll, the cards are all face down. Once the roll is happened, they turn over the cards. And then you see what they are. These are all random. There are 2 crap tables. And then there are like 15 baccarat tables, 3 3-card poker tables, about 5 face-up pai gow tables, 2 or 3 roulette tables, and about 3 loaded wild tables. The remaining tables are all blackjack tables. So while playing craps, I was waiting for the waitress to come around with the drinks because I'm so used to playing Vegas. But they said, no waitress here, you got to go buy your own drink at the front. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's very difficult transitioning from Vegas-style craps, California craps, because I'm so used to looking at the dice that I totally forget that there are cards, and I'm like, oh, what would have been a hard 4 is like 12. And I'm like, oh, gotta get used to this. So I went there on Veterans Day weekend, and the casino was packed. I can understand why a lot of your other callers who have vented their opinions on Vegas nickeling, diming them, I can see why California residents would rather stay in California and gamble, because you can get the rush of the gambling without paying for meals or hotel or rent a car. And it's just much more convenient to stay in state and gamble if you like the games they offer. So hopefully you guys open up your guys' casino so I can visit and play some very unusual odds with your guys' rules where it will be more player friendly than casino friendly. Thank you.
Yeah, and we've talked about it so much. Las Vegas does not have the same appeal for gamblers that it used to. It's evolving. It's more of an entertainment thing, and it is because, it's so much easier to gamble locally. It is interesting. He's talking about Sky River Casino. Thanks for that report, Logan. No cocktail servers. So, yeah, in California, you got to pay for your drinks, but they won't even come around and take your order. That's interesting. You got to go get the drink on your own. And then he was saying with the card craps, when it was a new shooter, they mixed up the cards, but they're initially face down. I don't know why that's important, but okay. And then they flip them up and leave them up for the rest of the hand. Interesting. And then this game Loaded Wilds that he's talking about, I couldn't find too much information about it. Wizards doesn't have a page yet. But yeah, it's a poker game. You're playing against the dealer. All players are playing against the dealer. All the deuces and a joker are wild. So a lot of wild cards in there. He was talking about how that bad beat included a straight flush, and I'm sure there were some wild cards involved there. So it sounds like might be an interesting game.
Yeah, it sounds a little crazy.
It can be. Anytime you've got wild cards, we play a lot of wild card games at our card night.
Right.
I mean, the hands, they do get crazy. They get out of hand.
It's one of those things where it's like anything can happen, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you got to be careful, just because you have a straight, which if you're just playing 5-card stud, hey, a straight's a great hand.
Right.
With wild cards out there, I've got 4 jacks. What?
Well, yeah.
All right, next call.
Hey, this is Ipsic Man reporting back. I've traveled to several casinos since my trip to Bally's in Rhode Island. First, just to get it off the table, no toilet paper complaints regarding thickness, although I've noticed that everywhere I've stayed, they need to buy their toilet paper from Costco. The width has cheated me by 1/2 to 1 inch. Not the end of the world, though. I played 4 times at Cherokee River in Murphy and another time in Cherokee. Cherokee River, they're expanding and improving the playing field, if you will. And a couple times I was there, it was extremely noisy and disruptive because of all the banging going on. I let that go to progress, so I'm not really complaining about anything. I like to see the fact that they're expanding the casino. However, I couldn't get onto the Soul Craps table that they have on 2 of the 4 occasions I was at Cherokee River. The $15 limit crowded the table with small bettors, and many would hog a spot with either a $100 bill sitting in the slot or less than $100 in chips. Not much in the way of tipping the dealers when I was able to grab a space, except for me, of course. I'm big on that, and I know they appreciate it. The time limit was extremely better when the table limit went to $25. I found the play went faster due to less crowding. Although I'm traveling there again this week, I don't expect much different. I enjoyed better play at Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. Again, only 1 table, though, with a $15 minimum. In the Jokes on Me department, when I was at the Hollywood Casino in late spring, I was disappointed to find a $5 minimum with inexperienced craps dealers, although they were very friendly. When I returned in mid-October, I realized there are 2 Hollywood casinos, the second being the Hard Rock Hollywood Casino, straight from one another. Apparently, I took my stupid head pills before I traveled in the summer. So here's my question. Neither you nor the Crap Vegas guys mentioned the Patreon fellow, Bone Thrower. Is he for real? I've seen a couple of his videos, and I'm very surprised that no one seems to mention his validity or his invalidity of his ability to shoot one after another number without hitting a 7. I'd appreciate it.
Oh, you got cut off there. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about first, he was talking about when he was at higher limit tables, like a $25 minimum table as opposed to a 10 or a 15, that the game was moving faster. And that certainly does make a lot of sense. This also goes back to sometimes people say, hey, why do they have a $25 table open with nobody there? When if they lowered it to like $10, they'd have a full table. Well, sometimes all it takes is one $25 player to come up. That table is going to make more money in the long run than these lower limits because maybe it's a faster game and
more money out there in a faster game. So, yeah. You know, one thing about the lower limits too, from a casino standpoint, usually if there's a $15 table, you know, you're taking $1 hardway bets and prop bets and all that, you know, there's a low limit. And you'll get a lot of people who want to do that, right? Because, I can bet $1 and maybe I hit an 11 or something. And so there's a ton of center action, which really, really slows the game down.
Right. And it's coming in from all sides and late bets and
Right. And when you get on a $25 table, it is true there's probably more seasoned players, but you got $5 minimums in that center action. So people aren't as apt to throw something out there.
Yep.
You see it all the time. There's a lot less.
Yeah.
And that keeps a faster game going, right? I mean, somebody hits a hard way. Well, you got to pay 2 or 3 people instead of 10 people.
Right. Yeah.
And then ask them what they want to do with it. And, it's just for the casino, a much quicker game and more money being bet.
So he mentioned Bone Thrower. Bone Thrower is a self-proclaimed dice influencer. They don't like being called dice controllers because they say, we can't control the dice, but we can influence the dice. We can roll fewer 7s than a random roller through practice in rolling. We don't talk about it much on our show because we don't believe it. We strongly don't believe it. But at the same time, we can't prove that it doesn't exist, right? So we just as soon not even get into a discussion about it. All we would say is be very careful about giving dice influencers money to teach you how to be a dice influencer.
Because that's how they're making their money.
Right. And I will say this too. Sure, some of them might be con men. Some may really believe that they can influence the dice. I'd say a lot of them actually believe it. And they're being influenced by small sample sizes, practicing at home, ignoring any data that might contradict what they think they're able to do. So, again, we're not going to get into an argument about it because we can't prove it. Just be careful.
Ridiculous. I am firmly against that. And until I am at a table with somebody who just, every time has great rolls, I'm not believing it.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hey, fellas. I thought I'd tell you a little gambling story for your listeners. I need to set the stage. I went gambling with my friend up in Reno, and he's not a sports bettor, but he went to Illinois for college. So we got it in our minds that we're going to bet the Illinois v. Oregon game. Now, Illinois is ranked number 20. Oregon was ranked number 1. So we go up to the counter and we're going to make our bets. And we tell the guy, we want Illinois for the money line. So he looks at his screen and then he looks at us. He goes, you mean Northern Illinois? We go, no, Illinois. And then he's like, Illinois, 22-point underdogs. And you want the money line. We're like, yeah, we want the money line. So he started laughing, and we said, well, we went to Illinois, so we believe, and it's going to happen. He's like, all right, Illinois to win, money line, 22-point underdogs. And then after we made our bets, which was only $20, not to get too crazy, he turns around and he gives us a whole bunch of drink tickets. He goes, you guys are going to need this. And we thanked them because we had such a good laugh betting in Illinois. They didn't even cover the spread by the halftime, and we needed all those drink tickets. Well, that's my short story for you guys. Thanks for everything you do.
All right. Very good.
It might have been worth it, right? You get all those drink
tickets. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
You sit there and get free drinks all night. Heck, you go to a bar and drink for 3 hours during a football game. It's going to cost you more than $20.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. Yeah, Oregon did blow them away. He didn't mention what the money line was on the bet. If they were 22-point underdogs, the money line was probably around plus 800, something like that. So, $20 on that. Why not?
And honestly, if you have a team, like you went to that school or you live in the town where the team is and you follow them, unless that $20 is going to change your life, why not? Just bet it.
That's what gamblers do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
That's the call of a gambler. Why not?
Why not? There's your T-shirt again.
Yeah, when you're hunting out in the woods for gamblers, why not? Why not? They'll just come running.
All right. Next up is Raymond.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Raymond here. I just played some craps at a local place. Really good craps. Has the good all tall small payouts, 100x odds, $10 minimum, but nobody ever goes anywhere near the 100x odds, including me, because I like to bet all the numbers, place bets, you get rated on. It's fun, but I know some people that would really love 100x odds. Curious what the most odds you've ever taken advantage of was. But the main point of my call was something interesting happened that I had never seen before, where a guy rolls a couple craps numbers, a 4 to set the point, and then rolls a 10. And then they stop the game. And they say, this person's not allowed to shoot. It'll be the next person's turn to roll. They wouldn't say why he wasn't allowed to shoot. I guess they didn't really know. They had his name on a cannot shoot list of some kind. So maybe he was, too many short rolls. He did have a jacket on that said, I set the craps table on fire at this casino. So he had gotten a 6-point fire at some point in his life. So maybe he knows how to actually control the dice. I don't know. But anyway, they wouldn't allow him to shoot. And the interesting part was that 4 that he rolled that I got paid on, I was happy. But this don't player was laying the 4 and he was making a stink. He was like, hey, wait, that's not fair. If he's not allowed to shoot and I bet against him and I lost, you should give me my money back. And I'm just like kind of laughing. I'm like, dude, whatever. But they actually gave him his money back. Like, without much fuss either. I mean, there was a little discussion, they talked to the managers and stuff, but they gave back the lay bet, and I got to keep my $50 that I won from the 4. So that was nice. But yeah, I was surprised that they gave it back. I don't know if you've ever seen any stories like that where someone wasn't allowed to shoot and they had to rewind time or make amends somehow. It was really bizarre. Anyway, love the show. Keep it up. Thanks. Bye.
We've never been in a situation where just all of a sudden they say, oh, this guy can't roll.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
I don't ever remember that.
No, we've seen it where they start warning people, you got to hit the back wall or something like that. If you don't hit the back wall, we're going to send the dice to the next shooter. We've seen stuff like that. But just kind of out of the blue, oops, we weren't supposed to let this guy roll. No, we've never seen that. Now, we have known of players who are not allowed to roll. In the cases with it we've seen, it hasn't been dice influencing. Although there are casinos that will. There are certain pit bosses maybe who actually do believe in dice influencing and won't let people roll. Again, we think that's ridiculous. But the examples that we've seen, Mike, I think you can think of somebody in particular who was up at Harrah's. Right. And I don't know if it was just he was taking too long or, he was just setting the dice.
He was boisterous.
Yeah.
He was loud.
Yeah. Are you in?
The rolls were going. Yeah. Are you in? Are you in it? The rolls went so slow and nobody really cared for it. So eventually they just told him, look, you don't roll anymore.
You can play, but you just can't roll anymore. And again, it wasn't because they thought he was a good roller. It just, he was annoying.
Well, and he drank a lot. And when he got drunk, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah. So, but this gives me a great idea for our casino, Mark.
Okay.
Above the craps tables, we'll have like a big display hanging down that says people who are not allowed to roll. And we'll just make up names. So, it'll be like Harry, Harry, Ballsman, Ballsman, Harry Ballsman.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It'll just be all made up names, but it'll be a gimmick and people will be attracted to it and want to play.
Okay, so it'll take care of two situations here. It'll make people laugh because there'll be funny names like Harry Ballsman. Right. Or if people don't notice it, don't pick up on, that they're made up funny names, will be like, oh, I got to be careful, the way I'm rolling, so I don't get on the banned list.
Every once in a while, too, we'll just have the pit boss, when he swipes someone cards, hit a button in their name, that person's name goes up on the marquee there. Sir, no, you can't list. You're on the board. What? That's the first time I've been here.
Well, I'm sorry. Those are the rules, Mr. Scrotum.
Yeah, Mr. Scrotum.
Yeah, we've played 100 times odds. I know you have, Mike.
Oh, and I had 100 times odds out there.
Back in the old days, when we would play at Binion's Horseshoe, those were dollar crap tables with
100 times
odds. So there were some times where we'd have $1 backing it up with 100. Yeah, it's harder now with these higher minimums.
Right. Yeah, you have $25 table. It's hard to put out 100 times.
When do you think is the last time you took 100 times odds, Mike?
Oh, that's a good question.
They had it at Blackhawk. I don't think you ever got to the point where you were
I never got to
100.
No, I did get up somewhere around 40 or 50 times, I think. Yeah, boy, Mark, you know what? It would probably have to be back at
Cromwell,
yeah.
When they had 100 times odds, yeah.
When Cromwell had 100 times
and
odds.
Maybe $5 tables.
I remember a $5 table with this one guy had a big, huge roll, and I did get several come bets and line bets up to 100 odds.
Okay, yeah.
And that'd be the last time. That was quite a few years ago, too.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, we, stopped going to Cromwell before they got rid of the 100 times odds because it was kind of a mixed bag as to our experience.
Yeah, we had good and bad experiences. We just never knew.
Yeah. All right, one last call from our good friend Melanie.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Dr. Mike. This is Melanie from Colorado. And I meant to call in earlier to tell you how much I loved playing craps and seeing you guys at Zorkfest. That was such a fun event. So grateful to Michael Traeger for working so hard to put that on. It was an absolute blast. I had a really great time. Thank you for the shout out on your podcast. That was really sweet. Made my day. I love playing with you guys, and I love playing with our biggest community. I played with just the nicest, most fun people, and I just thought we had a great table. I loved every second of it. Yeah, didn't come away a winner on that crapsless crap, but I had saved up a bankroll especially for that, so I was ready to take a shot, and I really, really enjoyed it. See, that trip, I stayed at the El Cortez. They had offered me weekend days, so I'm like, well, sure, I'll stay down there, and I did have to Uber back and forth. I wasn't affected by F1, so I was grateful for that. I love staying at the El Cortez. I know it's old, it's kitschy, but I love that history, and it's just a funky place to play. I like the coin droppers for the video poker, and anyway, really enjoyed my stay there. I stayed at the Cabana Suites. It's across Ogden from the main casino, so you don't have to walk through the casino every time you want to go somewhere else, which is really nice because one not great thing about the El Cortez is, unlike the Fontainebleau, it's rather smoky. So anyway, managed to tread water pretty well at El Cortez all those days, so happy for that. Oh my gosh, Dr. Mike, I love that you won money on Huff and Puff. It cracks me up that you were playing a slot machine, and I love that you were winning at it. So anyway, great show as always. Just installed a dog door, so I'm sorry for the dog barking. I tried to get out of range for that, but keep up the great show, guys. I really love it, and thanks for keeping me company while I did install said dog door. Really looking forward to getting to play craps with you guys again, hopefully in Blackhawk in the spring, although I may be out of town. If they have it in March, I should be able to make it, but my daughter is a senior studying in Taiwan for her senior year on a Rotary Club exchange. She got that travel bug from me, I think. So I'll be over there. So if any of your listeners, I believe they have casinos in Taiwan, have any suggestions, I sure would love to visit it. I'll try and find that out before I go. I was in Barcelona a few weeks ago, did go to the casino there. I ended up not playing. They didn't really have many table games. They did have roulette. That was popular. But, perfectly nice casino. But I don't know, just didn't have a vibe going. Maybe I went on the wrong day. But anyway, it's always fun to check out casinos in other countries. Thanks for the great show, guys. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Melanie. Yeah, good luck on your travels.
Yeah, I hope they have Huff and Puff 4 in Taiwan and They had it in Barcelona. That's my game, Mark.
Oh, that's Josh's game. That's the big game now. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Well, I'll tell you, Melanie, Thomas and Melissa are talking about a Black Hawk trip in September. So maybe early September when we'll actually go next year. So
that might be cold.
Sherry and I were talking about that too, because we definitely want to do outdoor activities, hiking and what have you. So
right.
Thomas and Melissa,
September's a funny month.
Listening, yeah.
And could be rainy too.
Right.
Maybe not super cold, but could be rainy. In Colorado, the weather changes momentarily.
Yeah. Anyway, pencil that in on your calendar, and I'm sure we will hear more as the year goes on. I wanted to say something. You know, I pretty much play everybody's voicemail on the show. You know, I won't play a call, obviously, if somebody says, oh, don't play this on the show, or if there's inappropriate content, something like that. But for the most part, I'll play everything. So if you have not heard your call on the show, chances are we didn't get it. And the reason I mention it is because there were a couple of voicemails within the last 2 weeks where it kind of sounded like maybe somebody was trying to leave a message, but the audio just wasn't coming through clear. Or it could have been just a pocket dial or a robocall or something like that. I just couldn't tell. So just FYI, if you haven't heard your call in again and we'll get you on the air. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations from Brian and Sarah, from Josh, and from the boys over at Crap Vegas. Thank you again for those recurring donations. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Dr. Mike, we've got Thanksgiving coming up this week, so we want to wish all of our American listeners a happy Thanksgiving. Please enjoy, eat a lot of food.
Yeah, and if you live out of the country or something where they don't have a Thanksgiving, there's never a bad time to say thanks.
Sure.
So to all those people, too, we're grateful for you.
And if you're going to be going to the casino during this break, I know a lot of people come into town. Maybe there's a casino near where you live. They're visiting. Right. You're sitting there. You're eating. You're all stuffed. Football's really boring. Thinking, hey, maybe we head out to the casino. Who wants to go? I do. Good luck.
Yeah, and send us a voicemail with the results of the trip.
Yeah, that's right.
I have Wednesday off.
Yeah, a lot of people have
Thanksgiving.
it off. Yeah.
Well, I technically don't have it off. It's just a work from home day.
Okay.
The students have it off.
Yeah.
And they told the teachers, well, just stay home and work from home, get stuff done.
Yeah.
Some testing and things we have to do, but nobody's going to do that. They're just going to stay home, and have the day off. So you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there's not a casino trip in there, you're living your life wrong.
Yeah, if you're listening to this show, I agree with you, Dr. Mike.
Right. I mean, that's a lot of time off. And you can only sit and watch football so much.
That's right.
For me, that limit's pretty high.
I was going to say, there's going to be football every one of those days this year. So
yeah, right. And they have the games on in the casino, too.
They do, yeah, for the most part. Yeah, unless it's a Star Wars marathon.
Right. You find yourself a nice, comfortable huff and puff machine where you can actually see the football game, and the cocktail waitress just gravitates towards you. That's pure heaven.
That's
Mark,
perfect.
Right?
I don't think we mentioned this, and this might not be limited to Resorts World in Las Vegas, but we were playing right next to their high limit slot room, and they had these beautiful little, almost like cubbies, where you had your own slot machine and your own TV screen. Right there.
It had like a little wall around it. You could watch the game on your little screen above your machine.
Yeah, and you weren't, sitting right next to somebody else, bugging you about where you're from.
Yeah, or looking at your machine. Oh, you almost had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I almost had it. Now get back to your machine.
Yeah, those looked fun.
Yeah, those were nice. I mean, that's like Air Singapore, I think it is.
Oh,
they have these
nice little beds that you can lie in on the plane.
I mean, the first class has a bed.
TV and yeah.
It's unbelievable. Well, that's what those slot machines are like.
Yeah.
You could probably even get maybe a side table for a meal.
Yeah.
Like snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people live on cruise ships when they're older because it's actually cheaper than living in a house.
With the food and everything.
With the food and everything. Maybe I just get myself a cubicle in some nice casino.
All right, yeah. Start planning your future, Dr. Mike.
Don't worry, people waiting. That guy's not leaving. He's been there for 3 years. He's not leaving that spot.
All right, have a great holiday, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so excited! Did you see the ring? Oh my God. I can't wait to tell my parents I'm marrying a doctor.
He's a dentist.
But it doesn't matter. The invitation will still read Doctor and Mrs. What's his last name?